I am a huge fan of Karen Burniston's pop-up dies, and I have so much fun designing interactive cards with each release for holidays and any reason or season. The pop-up and other dies just released in November 2019 were brilliant as always, and in this video I'm sharing the new dies and the first 3 cards I made with them. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik and I love to make interactive cards with unique dies like these for special people. More details on each of the cards I show will be on my blog, and of course links will be in the description box. So the first card that I made was with the new gift pivot panels die set. Now there are a whole series of pivot panels from Karen Burniston, and this is her newest one, and it's perfect for birthdays or Christmas. I decided to put the gift pivot panels in the tag book pop-up set. So I have a neat tag card for a dear friend, Christmas blessings, and then when you open it up, the inside pops up and it has presents for Christmas in all sorts of different colors, and it's a really neat stand-up card. And it says your friendship is a special gift the whole year through. So again, a pretty pop-up card for a dear friend for Christmas. I made this card with the Parcel Pop-Up die. Again, you can use it for any occasion. Right now I'm focusing on Valentine's and Christmas, and these elements here pop up when the card is opened. And I also used another new die from this release, Happy Valentine's Day, and that perfect font. And can I just show you something that makes me very happy? The I and the apostrophe are connected. They're not separate pieces, so when you cut that out, it's so easy. You don't have to go searching for those pieces and then lose them and then have to substitute with something. So I love that about Karen's sentiment dies. I used a tonic kitty and puppy on the front. This card is going to be for a child for Valentine's Day, and so when you open it and you see that top part pops up and it says love you, which is also a Karen Burniston die, and Happy Valentine's Day, and it just opens and pops up. And I put mine on acetate. One thing you're going to want to do with all these cards, all these dies, let's say you decide that's the one I want. Go to Karen Burniston's website, watch her videos. She also has tons of examples from her design team. So I'm going to show you how I made the last card, but again, her tips are fantastic and you really want to watch those videos to learn how to use these dies. My favorites of the new dies is the Surprise Ball Pop-Up and the Flap and Closure die. This is really cool. You could use this on any kind of card, and you can have a double pop-up or a single one like I did on my card, or you can have a 4 flap, which I think they call that a pedal flap. So it's very, very versatile, and I really like this die. And then this one is super fun because the ball pops up when the card is opened. This is the card that I made. I have 2 special grandsons. So the first card I made is for my grandson Evan, and I'm going to make another card in this video for my other grandson. Now kids will love the pop-up interactive action, but the pop-up would be fun for any person to receive. I saw a really pretty example using golds and silvers, so obviously can be done for any person of any age, any kid of any age, right? Now the flap closure closes like this. And on the front I have Santa coming with, and that's an Impression Obsession die. And then when the card opens, the ball pops up and it spins around and around. It's Very cool. So flat and then pops. So just a really fun interactive card for a kid of any age. So I've started a card that I'm going to show you. This time I'm using Penny Black's Happy Snowman on the front and the same Merry Christmas paper there. The card width is 5 inches wide, and that's to fit this flap perfectly to close. But I decided to make mine a little bit longer, so in that case I have 5 wide and 5 1/4 tall, so 10 1/2. And then I have cut 3 pieces of designer paper at 4 3/4 by 5, and that will be used to cover up the brads. I've also cut 2 decorative pieces out of the flap die, and one of them I've already, I'm going to use this side, put on, and that flap's going to be on the bottom of the card. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I put some strong tape on the flap. So, oh, well, let me attach this and then I'll show you. So the flap piece is ready to go. In the die are this decorative piece here and this flat piece here, and then these two are what she's calling washers, I think, and then there's 6 spacers. And so that's what you get, and that's what I have cut out in advance because you don't really need to see me doing all that. We have marked the center of this card, and I'm using an older, I think it's from Karen Foster, punch. I don't have any punches that go that far, so this one you can choose wherever you want it. I looked and I don't think this is available anymore, but of course there's other options, and I think you could just use a good pokey too. So I'm punching that, and then we've got to get a pencil out here. We are going to mark on here where we want our washers, the closure circles, to be, and so, and then one right above it. And I'm going to punch through that. Doesn't usually take 3, but it did on that one. Okay. Lots of layers there. And then also on here, let's just go for 3, right. Okay. We're going to attach the spacers, and I should have 6, and it does make a difference because one time I lost one, or one got torn a little bit, and then so I see I need to cut another one, and I'll be right back. The little washers are very small, but it is important that you have 6 of them, 3 for each hole. Now I see it. Now that I cut an extra one, I see it now. I tried one tore a little bit, and so I only put 2 on, and it does make a difference because these pieces here have to be raised so that the cord goes around them. Now I cut my washers out of Craft cardstock, and you put Easy Cut adhesive on the back, which I love, from ICraft and Therm, and it makes it so easy to attach them. Now I've put 3 on here, and then I'm going to put the other 3 on this hole. And this, of course, is making the flap closure. And then we'll move on to the surprise ball pop-up on the inside. So there's 3 washers to raise that. And then we're going to take a brad, and the bottom one can just then be attached. And then the top one, we're going to put the cord through first to the back and allow enough to wind around the brad. And then we're putting a brad and the other circle through, and you know, I tried a little smaller brad this time. I might regret that, huh? But I think it'll still work. We're going to wind this cord around that, and then just tape that down, because that's all going to be covered up. Could use any tape to do that. So our closure goes around those outside pieces and then gets trimmed off. But I'm going to wait till I put my inside in to do that. So this piece here will cover up that. I have 2-sided designer paper. The Merry Christmas is on one side and the plaids on the other. And mine's going to be a top opening card, so of course I want my Merry Christmases to be the right way up to be able to read it. So our flap closure part of this card is done, and now we're going to work on the surprise pop-up. So you cut out 2 pieces, 2 main ball pieces, which is this large die here. And you're also going to cut out decorative pieces that uses these 4-sided pieces here. And I'll show you on the one that I chose to do. I personalized the top of those pieces with my grandson's name, and these dies are also from Karen Burniston. But I chose not to decorate these pieces here because I made it out of a 2-sided cardstock, and so I decorated the top. This is from Karen's Winter Charms, and this present here is from the Gift Pivot Panels. And this is a Tailored Expressions die. So I'm basically going to repeat this, but in this case I'm using my other grandson's name. So you cut out 2 pieces of this, and you start by gluing these. Well, first you fold all the flaps, okay? So you fold all the outside flaps, and these pieces here, which are flaps, or which are going to just strengthen these. And then you can also fold these here. And then we're going to attach these flaps first. And I am using glue, if I can get it out, that I got at Karen Burniston's website. And I'm also following the suggestion that she has to use a clip to hold that down to get it to hold. I probably need to clean out the cap part of that a little bit, because it usually comes out a little bit easier than that. I have been following her suggestion to leave it upside down in a cup with some wet paper towel in there while I'm using it, and that usually does help this to come out a little easier. But then again, my right hand isn't as strong because of a previous injury. So those are the flaps that you're going to glue down first. You're going to take a large brad and put it through one of the holes. It doesn't really matter which one, but that one's going to be the bottom of the ball. And we're going to be using a rubber band, and what Karen suggested is that we have one about 1 3/4 to 2.5 inches wide, which this one is. But if you have some bigger ones, she did suggest, and I did try it on one, you can just tie a knot in the middle. So when you're playing with yours, just try the rubber bands that you have, and any one of those should work. It should be good. Now there are 2 longer slit pieces in there, and you need to line that up with the other slit on the other one, so that both of these have a slit and a hole in the same position. If you've got it on the other one, one slit will be going this way and one slit will be going that way, so that would be not correct. You want to line this up with the slit that matches, and that's the first one that you're going to glue together. And then you're going to hold those together until they set up, which of course I could clip also, but I want to go on. And once those are set up, this is where you're going to attach your rubber band. So you're going to take your rubber band and slide it through that slit. To the hole. So it is now attached here. And then you would continue, and these flaps here get attached, one on one side and one on the other. So you put those together so they're straight. And once again, we could use a clip to hold those until they're set. And you're going to continue around the ball. And for the purpose of not taking real long, I'm not going to show you every single one, but those two get attached. Now this is the next longer flap, and both those slits are going to line up together. And before you continue, once you have those other ones glued, you're going to glue this one together, and then you're going to take the rubber band and you're going to slide it through this slit. But of course that would have the two of them together. And that is how the ball is going to pop up and down. Let's take it off because I'm not ready to do that. So once you have attached that rubber band to each side and you've glued your other three tabs together, you would have your ball completed. And you can test the spring by pushing it down and it will pop up. So it's really fun, just like that. In fact, you could send that in an envelope just like that and then have it pop up when it comes to the child, or to the big kid too. My other grandson is Nate, so N-A-T-E, and then I have a cute gingerbread and a present, and then on the top is Ho Ho Ho, which is a die from Tailored Expressions. So I have completed that to save a little time, and that bottom brad that you put through there, you want to lay this flat and then open up that brad, and then you're going to put the brad through the hole that you created in the center of that card, and then you're going to close it, and that is what holds. I should have put that paper on, right? No, that's right, that goes on the back. Okay, yeah, I didn't put any paper on this one. That's okay. This ball, you could of course choose to put designer paper, but I decided to leave this one blank, and I'm going to sign it there. The ball can be turned around and around, and then also pops up when the card is open. And then I'm going to close it using that flap closure, and I'll take off a little bit of that excess cord. And then this piece here gets covered with a another piece of designer paper, and I cut those just slightly smaller than my square, but of course you could choose whatever size you want for your card, but the 5-inch width, or a little less, I guess you could trim it off, but the 5-inch width works very good with that flap closure die. So my card is complete. I have a happy snowman there and a flap closure that my grandson will open, and then when he does, the ball will pop up. I just think that's so neat. I had so much fun designing my first cards with these unique new dies. I hope what you have seen here encourages you to give them a try. Thanks for watching, sharing, and subscribing, and commenting. And thanks too for helping me share the joy of creativity.